So Moshe Rabbeinu, in part of his farewell, the second song, he says goodbye to the Klal Yisrael, and he's telling them what the Torah is and what the Torah is not. And just like there are many, the interpretations of Torah are many, so are the confusions and misrepresentations of Torah just as many. So like by Shemaim, it's not something that was given for malachim, for saints and not sinners. Like Rechoika, it's not too far off. Like not something mysticism, Kabbalah. It's reaching every human being. It's not like those that say the Torah was given not for this country. It was given for the old country. Once they left the old country, they kicked over all the traces. It's kikora lechadora miyoy. Got something, but it's something which is very, very close to your heart. That's what the Torah is all about. And there's a very moving medrash. The medrash tells about one of the sages of the Chazal, Rabbi. He invited a stranger who had the appearance of being a very learned individual. He invited him to partake of his hospitality. So as he sat down by the table, he got into discussion of Torah with him. He realized that the man is a total ignoramus. So he regretted his hospitable impulse. So he said, woe unto me that a dog has eaten from the bread. A dog has eaten from the bread of Yanai. A total ignoramus who never refused, never study any Torah whatsoever. He compared it to a dog. The stranger got up, grabbed Rabbi Yanai by the lapel, and he shook him. He roughly shook him, and he said, "You thief! Return to me my inheritance you stole from me." Rabbi Yanai was shocked. He says, "What inheritance? What did I steal from you?" He said, "It's written, Torah to you along Moshe, that the Torah was commanded to Moshe by Rosh Kilas Yaakov. It's the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. It's the inheritance of each and every Jew. Return to me my inheritance." That's what Torah is. Torah is the inheritance of each and every Jew. Uri Zohar is a very famous, very, very famous individual. He wrote a book, and the title of the book was "We Were Robbed." Unfortunately, by those that misrepresent that they set a different Torah before the public, which leaves them completely ignorant and completely sterile and robbed of Torah itself. The conclusion, we're closing up the study of ethics of fathers, Pirkei Avos. This coming Shabbos will be the last Shabbos of Perek. It begins every chapter begins with Kol Yisrael Yeshiv B'Chelek L'Haba. Each and every Jew has a share in the world to come. Shinamar Mechzad Kulam Tzadikim. That every your entire nation are tzaddikim. They're righteous individuals. Someone asked the saintly Chofetz Chaim. He said, Rabbi, he said, that takes away the incentive. You give someone a blank check. Our sages give everyone a blank check. You have a share in the world to come. What does he have to strive for? Why does he have to devote himself to spiritual matters? He can enjoy life, enjoy this world, forget about there's nothing to work for. He doesn't have to give an accounting. He'll never have time to give an accounting. Hey, there's waiting for him a valuable piece of property, real estate, a share in the world to come. Chofetz Chaim said, I'll tell you. He said there was one time a very generous, golden-hearted Jew who owned a factory. Aside from those that had a skill in their hands, were able to perform as an employee, there were unfortunate individuals, shlemazalnikis, who could not learn any kind of a trade. So, in order to preserve their dignity, not just to give them charity, he would find some sort of very menial, something, almost nothing to do, just to hang around every day, show up 8 in the morning, go home at 5, and at the end of the week he'd give them a paycheck. So one day he came to visit his factory, and the farmer was showing around to different sections, where this department produces this department, and he engaged in conversation with the different workers, employees. So each one told him what they do. Then he came upon one individual. He says, young man, he says, what is your, what sort of work do you perform? What's your job? He said, my job is to collect the paycheck. That's his job. You can imagine all those standing around, they burst out into laughter. The shame of him. He was one of these unfortunate individuals who had no trade whatsoever, no skill. So everybody burst out into laughter. He was a laughing stock of the entire factory. Chofetz Chaim says, this is an isolated case where, a day later, a week later, a month later, it'll be forgotten, the incident. He made a fool of himself, but people don't always remember something like that. That's on this world. But he said, on the next world, he says, when someone will come along, he lived 70, 80, 90 years on this world, and then he'll come and they'll say, Moshe, what can we do for you? He said, what do you mean? He said, I want to relax. He said, I have a piece of real estate, I have a title, a deed for it. He said, where's the deed? He said, well, it says, every Jew has a share in the world to come. Oh, that's the only reason that you want to collect, you want to take ownership? Because of that, you never did anything to deserve it, you never worked for it, you never denied yourself, you never gave charity, you never did mitzvahs. That's the only reason that you want to. There, he'll be the laughing stock of everyone there, all the angels and all those that left this world from all the generations. And that's the laughter that won't subside after a while. That remains forever and forever. He says, woe unto one who